Hi, everyone. Welcome to Our Disabled Future, a series where disabled voices lead the way. I'm your host, Nico, and it is a good day for disability inclusion. Each day during Disability Pride Month and beyond, I'm amplifying real disabled stories, where we are, where we want to go, and how the heck we're going to get there. Together, I hope. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Rikki. Let's dive in. Hi, Rikki. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, tell us about yourself and about your disabled life.
Oh gosh, where do we begin? Oh, hold on. Sorry, 1 second. Let me put do not disturb on because I forgot to do that. Okay, sorry. Right. So I am Rikki. I live in Omaha, Nebraska. I moved here summer of 2023, and after being in North Carolina majority of my life. I am deaf, and I'm also someone with chronic pain, chronic fatigue. No actual diagnosis for that yet, other than you have it. But hopefully one day we'll figure it out. I thought it was fibromyalgia. Apparently, maybe not. But yeah, so I was diagnosed, if you will, as deaf when I was 11. My mother is deaf, so she became deaf when she was 3. And then, so I'm assuming that it's just hereditary. For me, it could possibly be I was born with it and I was deaf or hard of hearing or whatever earlier, but we didn't really notice it until I was 11. Not the greatest childhood, so that kind of played into that. And since then, I grew up as a mainstream deaf person, no access to ASL or even hearing aids. I got my first pair of hearing aids in 2021, and yeah, it's been a long time coming. And started finding a deaf identity or working towards it and a community and ASL and things like that. Like 10 years ago, actually, still work in progress, but yeah. And now I just talk about growing up mainstream and hoping kids that relate to that don't feel alone, and also talking about accessibility, disability awareness, things like that on the internet and around and things like that.
Rikki, thank you for going in depth about your early life and kind of how you handled your deafness throughout. Tell me, what does a disability friendly future look like for you?
Oh, definitely one with more accessible internet or just online content in general. I have spent the last 10 years, a lot of my work is known for like talking about the lack of captions, proper captions, things like that on YouTube mostly, and then ventured out, everywhere on the internet. So definitely more people captioning, that tends to go up and down, you know, it really happens and then it doesn't, and it really happens again and then it doesn't. And also more access to, ASL at events and stuff like that. I've noticed, part of the reason I moved to Omaha was there's a bigger deaf community, at least in terms of like in my age. Like in Western North Carolina, you had like the little kids because we had North Carolina School for the Deaf, and a little weird to interact with them, on that kind of level. Or they were a lot older. So, and like, we would say hello and things like that, but we couldn't really connect as well. I'm 33, for example. So most of these people are either K through 12 or like 60s and things like that. So okay, we socialize when we see each other, at the schools or events, but it wasn't that strong of a connection. So in Omaha, this, the community is bigger and you have more access to events and things because we have more interpreters and we're all pretty close. But there's still a struggle, especially in the political climate. I've spent the last however long it's year, let's say a year, since the main election and also local elections, just trying to get people to caption their stuff and have more ASL interpreters, and a lot of organizations have been like, no, we can't do that, yada yada. And also just in terms of like the chronic pain and fatigue thing, like trying to find stable work has been a struggle. stable, normal, quote, quote, work, if you will. Because like I can't work a regular 9 to 5 because I could be out at any second. You know, right? Good days, bad days, okay days. So it's just, yeah, more access online, offline, more of an understanding, and a little bit more of an equal footing. Yeah.
You ended that answer very strongly, more equal footing. In your response, I hear a call for greater accessibility and just wider knowledge about how to communicate with deaf people and other disabled people who might communicate differently. And I really respect that. Let me ask you a harder question. How do we get there? What strategies do we use? Do you think we have to increase knowledge? What's your perspective?
I've been asking myself that question
Okay,
a
sure,
lot
sure.
recently. I mean, like, for example, with the captioning campaign that I had with YouTube, I feel like it's a little bit of everything. Like, okay, a lot of people didn't know about captioning on YouTube, so we made them more aware of it. And they're like, oh my God, great. And then they, started to implement that more. And then some of them stopped. So, like, they knew it, they had the acknowledgement of it, but they didn't care enough anymore. And that seems to be what it is. It's a mixture of both because some people are very aware. I remember some people saying, like, we don't need deaf awareness as much anymore. Like, we need it, but like, we need people to care. I think it's a mixture of both. Just what's the word I'm looking for? Um, this is where brain thought comes in. Genuine ignorance, and being ignorant isn't necessarily a bad thing. You don't know what you don't know, right? And then like just being purposely obtuse. So I've made videos, I've written articles, I've sent letters. I have a meeting with the senator in a few weeks. Yep, yeah. So hopefully, talk about that some more. It's hard because I think it's harder to get people to care than to make them aware. No rhyming intended. That just came up in my brain. Thank you. I It's hard because you can make a million videos, you can make a million articles, you can stand in front of the Capitol or at rallies or whatever, holding a big old sign that says caption your videos, have ASL interpreters, wear a mask, this and that, have working elevators, but getting them to care is a different story. So it is a harder question. Yeah.
It is, but it sounds like you're doing all that you can and far more than I think most people would expect. So I want to, give you your flowers and hold space for that accomplishment. It's a lot of work,
Thank you.
of course.
It is.
As we close our time together, Rikki, I want to give you a chance to brag about yourself, promote anything you got coming up. As disabled people, we rarely get a chance to cheerlead ourselves. So this is your chance. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm on so many platforms. Same username, Rikki Pointer, RIKKIPOYNTER. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. I'm keep trying to remember that Blue Sky exists, and Threads I'm on a little bit, but yeah, type my name and I'm on a lot of places. I'm easy to find. Name, same everywhere.
Fantastic, thank you. And we can put some of those links in the video description when I post this.
Appreciate it.
Of course, Rikki, thank you again for your time. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody, tune in next time. Remember, this is our disabled future, so we build it one day at a time together. Wherever you go and whatever you do, I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Bye.